I expose Minnesota's billion-dollar fraud scandal.
The Minnesota fraud scandal continues to get worse and worse as billions of dollars of fraud has been exposed, and as I showed the world the blatant fraud taking place at daycares and other locations across Minnesota, it became the most viewed video expose on the internet.
It had probably over 200 million views, or impressions at least. That is crazy.
Created instant change within the government as the Fed sent thousands of federal agents to Minnesota. Protests and riots took place, all starting because daycares like Quality Learning Center were exposed. However, the daycares is only a small portion of the fraud taking place in Minnesota. In this video, I will take you into what has continued to allow this fraud to happen and connect all of the dots for you, exposing all of the fraud from strange connections of the business owners and the politicians who have openly admitted to the fraud on live TV. And to dive deep into the fraud, I met back up with the local David, who has been investigating this widespread fraud scandal for years. So here in Minnesota, you have daycare fraud, you have adult daycare fraud, you have healthcare fraud, and you even have more fraud. What's some of the fraud that's also taking place here inside of Minnesota?
Transportation fraud. In Minnesota, we have something called non-emergency medical transportation, NEMT. My research has shown that there are about 1,020 such companies in Minnesota, and more than 90% of them are Somali-owned. The national average for a non-emergency medical transportation company is 20 vehicles per company. A lot of these companies, some are in a convenience store, some of them in a vacant building. There's no signage, there's nobody there.
And so why would there be such a need for all these transportation companies here inside of Minnesota?
So if you think of this transportation as the hub of the wheel, so childcare is a spoke, adult daycare is a spoke, autism is a spoke, the interpreter services, which we can get into, that's another spoke. It all ties back to transportation. Why? Because those meals had to be, someone had to deliver those meals. So it all revolves around the transportation. Let's say there are only 800 Somali-owned non-emergency medical transportation. Well, again, the average is 20 vehicles per company. So that's like 800 times 20. And the way these NEMT companies are paid is if they bring someone to a doctor's appointment, Costco or wherever wherever they're going, because remember, it's non-emergency medical transportation, so it's almost impossible to figure out what exactly the payments are for each of these trips. So when someone provides a transportation to a facility or a location, they're also paid for the time to sit there and wait for the appointment to end and then drive the person back. So they're paid 3 different ways. And the average is going to be $50 per trip. Going to the appointment is a trip, coming back trip. So that's $100 per round trip. 10 trips a day, and it's $50 per trip. So it's 800 times 20 times
10 times
10 trips times $50 a trip. Do the math.
$8 million a day.
How many of these trips are being provided? 0. They don't have to provide any. Why? Because when they are paid by the state of Minnesota, these companies go online and they fill out a form and it just says, okay, how many trips, how many miles? They submit that electronically to the state and boom, they get paid. Nobody bothers to check. As soon as that form is filed with the state of Minnesota, that payment goes out immediately. All of this fraud revolves around these transportation companies.
And today we're going to go confront these people. We confronted them last time. There was no kids in any of the child care centers. And today, what do you expect to see?
I think we're going to see some vehicles because, you know, when I drive around the cities here, I see these Somalis driving. Mostly it's like a Plymouth Caravan or whatever. And in 7 years, I've never seen a passenger in any of these vehicles. I've followed some of them. They're going to Costco, they're going to Sam's Club, they're going to Walmart. The driver gets out, goes in there, loads up a shopping cart, comes in, puts it in the van.
They're probably just using these cars for personal use. I mean, that's probably what's happening.
All right, let's go. So where's the first location we're going to?
The first location is a company called Safari Transportation. The thing about Safari is that they've been registered since 2015 with the state of Minnesota as operating vehicles. And again, the national average for a non-emergency medical transportation company is 20 vehicles. So if they've got 20 vehicles, I have no idea where there's parking because there is no parking anywhere near this office.
They probably just have the office registered and then they have the car at their house.
So
The location here is 607 and also 617. These are two transportation companies. We're on a main road right now, and this is 607, and it is not a transportation company. Actually,
What a
money
surprise.
transfer. This does not look like Safari Transportation. Where is the transportation company? We have the manager. Let's see if we can find Fod. Hello, how are you? We're looking for Safari Transportation.
No, there's no Safari transportation here.
No Safari Transportation? So this is registered for Safari
We
Transportation.
don't know. We don't know. Do you see this? What is this?
Money transferring.
That's it.
This is fraud taking place.
Go check it out.
We're here. This is 607. Where's Safari
607.
Transportation?
Okay, it's-
We're gonna go to the next address.
That's it.
So 607, this is supposed to be Safari Transportation, no transportation company. And now we're going to 617, another transportation company. However, it is actually Riverside Liquor. David, they aren't even trying to hide. Let's go ask.
Let's go ask. Here we go.
Hey, we're looking for Dreamline Transportation.
Where is the transportation company?
No, we don't have this.
You ever heard of Safari Transportation?
Safari, I know Safari, that money wiring.
That man just said that Safari is actually a money wiring company, so therefore they're receiving money and then wiring it somewhere. And then you have 617A right here, but this is reliable services, immigration, travel, and tax. I do not see a transportation company anywhere.
Morning. We're hoping to find Dreamline Transportation. You ever heard of it?
I've never heard of it. Ask next door.
He said to ask here, that you would know.
Ask next door. This is a mailbox. It's not a real call.
Well,
Okay, see you later.
607 Safari Transportation doesn't exist. It's actually a money wiring business. 617 Dreamline, inside of there, it's actually a liquor store. And then 617A is a place where there's a bunch of mailboxes.
Are you sensationalizing the propaganda to attack our community? What's your final objective?
We're
What money
looking-
from this.
We're looking for fraud.
No, I'm
for
not.
instance, can you answer our question? Where's Safari Transportation Company?
How much money are you making?
I make
off
money
of
off of
this?
YouTube. That's how I make my money.
Exactly. So you're making money off of sensationalizing the Somali community.
I'm not attacking you guys. We're asking. Fraud is fraud, correct?
Yes.
This has nothing to do with race. This is fraud.
This
Is fraud.
absolutely has to do with us being Muslim.
They do this. The reason why they say this is because it works on a lot of Americans. Americans are so brain broken and terrified of being called racist that they will just immediately back down from a completely reasonable position whenever they're confronted with the accusation of that word. It's like a spell.
If you don't want us here, change the freedom of religion. Say, listen, we don't want Muslims in this country anymore.
We're not saying
No,
that.
no.
We're not
Because
saying.
I go onto your comments, what
Not
I see
me.
is people that say we do not want Muslims here. Kick every single Muslim out of Minnesota. You're preparing for the Somali community to maybe be taken to concentration camps.
We're talking about
Listen,
fraud. You're
what
defending
doing-
fraud.
what-
You're
when I go
defending
into your
fraud.
comments,
You're defending fraud.
People who hate Muslims
Okay,
want
people
us
can-
out of here.
people can say
for
what they
being
want. I'm not
Muslim.
censoring
Well,
anyone.
It makes perfect sense. Obviously, there are people that hate Muslims are going to be there in a comment section of a group that's primarily Muslim that's doing something wrong.
You hate Muslims.
I'm not saying I hate
You
Muslims.
hate
We're talking about
Are we
fraud.
the only community that does fraud? Are we the only community that does this?
This isn't a race issue,
listen,
sir.
listen, let me
This
say
is about
something.
fraud.
If any Somali gets hurt in Minnesota, it's because of Nick f***ing Shirley. You son of a bitch. We don't want you here. Get the f*** out of here. Hey, I don't want Muslims here. Say it.
Eventually, you are going to have people that say that they don't want Muslims here if you keep using your faith as a distraction and a shield from criticism from illegal behavior. The more that you use your religion and your ethnicity and your protected status as a minority as a shield for bad behavior, the more people stop caring about that protected status.
Obviously, for this video, we had to get security because look at this now.
Total crash out.
There were no transportation companies.
The Somalis are the most violent people I have ever met in my whole life.
Neither business was there or operating, and giving a very conservative estimate based off of David's numbers and other numbers online, it's fair to say each business is operating with an average of 20 vehicles and with a much lower and generous rate of $25 per trip. And with 10 alleged trips a day, each business is pulling an estimate of $1.3 million in gross revenue. And with those two locations alone, there's over $2.6 million in estimated fraud. All right, we're going to the next location. We're outside of this transportation vehicle company right here.
Yeah, and so you can see these are the vans that say Dreamline. You can see the sticker on the window and the numbers on the rear. None of these vehicles have moved in 8 months.
And this is a vehicle from Dreamline that actually didn't even exist. It was a liquor store. Vans haven't moved at all. There's 11 vehicles here No snow tracks anywhere. And then right here, David has more paperwork for Silver Mountain. And there's 3 different companies in the same address. And this is why these transportation companies are so essential to the fraud in Minnesota, because they allow the fraud to be supported, as the majority of the fraud is from welfare programs like daycares, autism centers, and adult daycares, and healthcare services. They need to leave a paper trail to make it look like something is happening. Therefore, they use these transportation.
And you can see also one of the business owners there was doing everything on paper rather than on a machine.
Companies to create that paper trail by saying they're moving people from an adult daycare to a healthcare provider, for example, but they actually never provide the service at the healthcare provider. But that paper trail allows
Fake
them
medical
to continue
transport?
to build the state for the money, and everyone gets paid. That's why this fraud is so deep and hard to dismantle, because quite literally everyone is involved. So this is a location for Silver Mountain. We're wondering where Silver Mountain.
Oh, I don't know that. You don't have a permission to do that.
Okay, so Silver Mountain does not exist. So Silver Mountain does not exist.
You have millions of people watching you.
We're just simply asking for, where is Silver Mountain Home Healthcare? Right there, Somali Senior Center and Adult Day Services, daycare right there. All these welfare companies are in the same location.
How many of these things are there? Oh my God.
Their reaction tells you all you need to know. The reaction is so violent that if there was no fraud going on, they would have a civil conversation, but they can't because they know we're shining the light on the fraud and they have no defense. So in their mind, being loud and using profanity is their only defense. And to this point, Nick, the transportation companies we've been to, we haven't seen a single vehicle at any of them. And we're going to the addresses that are listed on the Secretary of State's website.
This is a massive parking lot here. We're gonna go ask them where their vehicles are. Me and David headed into this building.
Let's see what he's got to say.
The owner was not there. We're here at the suite of Epimonnia Transport LLC. There's actually not even a sign here. There's a guy over here. Do you know about Epimonnia Transport here?
So there was a transportation company here in 305 for a long time, even before I joined the building a few years ago. He's never really here. I've seen the office a couple times. There's barely anything in there but a couch. And then I see him maybe twice a month at IF. So I've been here for 3 years and I'm always here. I know everybody in the building, and this specific space here is probably the most sketchy out of any other business here.
He should have his business in 308. There should be transportation vehicles outside. There's no.
That's weird that you say 308 because he's always been in 305 for the last 3 years.
See, this is what I said. This is the tip of the iceberg. You guys have no idea how bad this gets.
Wow, so he's even lying on his public records.
I would assume if he was doing fraud, it makes sense to switch it up and throw people off track. It would be the first thing somebody would do, I would think.
So since the fraud has started to be exposed,
5 million.
Mohammed has left the scene. He's nowhere to be found. How quick do you think the fraud would dry out here in Minnesota if they were to cut out the transportation side of the fraud?
I don't think it would do anything, honestly, because they'd just shift to something else.
The signal that would send would let people know the party's over. I tried to arrange a ride with one of these Somali transportation companies. They said they were all full. So now we're at 2833 13th Avenue, Minneapolis, and there's supposed to be a non-emergency medical transportation company here called Advanced Mobility Incorporated.
All these windows covered right here. We're gonna see if we can go inside. There's a bunch of shops in here. We have money transferring shop. We got clothes in here. There's a coffee shop. Is Advanced Mobility here?
I don't think you guys are allowed to record it.
Do you know where Advanced Mobility is? Where's Advanced Mobility at?
No, I don't.
All right, we're looking for Advanced Mobility. Nobody can help us right now. We got a whole group of people trying to get us out of here. Now they're pushing us out of here. We're leaving, sir. Would you like to give a statement on what's happening here in Minnesota?
You make stuff up. Who do you work for? Who do you work for? No, who do you work for?
You guys say I can't film, but look what you guys filming. Advanced Mobility doesn't exist.
It's been registered
How
since
convenient.
1999 and it doesn't exist.
All right, next location. This is the address for Ray's Transportation. Is Ray's Transportation here, sir?
I don't know. Transportation place. There's no transportation places here.
It's just
Healthcare places.
Well, I think it's confirmed they're not here, David. They're kind of like ghost companies. They exist on paper, but they don't actually exist. Would you like to see anybody
That's
in
what
the
they're
government
getting
here
out
held
of it.
accountable?
Most definitely, because there can definitely be an allocation of funds. This is some crazy stuff. But I'm glad that you bringing light to it. It is a crazy, interesting situation.
Hey, what's up? What you got going on?
Uh-oh.
The false narrative that you be going on is a nonsense. You are creating misinformation. This is not fair. You cannot be doing that. You're not being fair. This country is built on fairness.
This is it again. They always try to use and weaponize your values against you so they can take advantage of you.
You cannot come into the community and be doing that.
So we shouldn't allow fraud to be happening, right?
Let the legal system do its job. Well, you're not in a position to do the job.
So we were just having a civil conversation. That guy hopped out of his car in the middle of the road. That I'm the bad guy for showing what's happening here.
They don't want this type of stuff. You're going on to be brought to light. It's a very tight-knit community.
God bless you, sir, and thank you very much. Why are we doing this?
So we're doing this because the people of Minnesota and the people of America want this done. Fraud is fraud.
This is the location of Crescent Transportation. Does not look like any vans are outside. It's an apartment complex. There's no signage of any Crescent Transportation company. Another fraudulent business where they don't even have a storefront.
Yeah.
So this is an apartment complex right here?
Yeah.
And have you ever seen Crescent Transportation out here?
Nope.
And what do you think about the fraud taking place here in Minnesota?
Huh? I'm a taxpayer. I don't like it.
What's your message to all the fraudsters?
Taking them to jail. Work hard for my money. They still go to jail.
So that man right there just confirmed that this is an apartment complex.
So the cities have specific rules governing operating businesses out of apartments. They do not allow transportation companies to park vehicles in an apartment parking lot. So this is called Hopkins Child Care Center. This facility is licensed to hold 118 children. So this should be a really big facility. And this year alone, they have received $2.25 million from the state of Minnesota. Last year, they received $1.92 million from the state of Minnesota. And this facility in the past 5 years has been in the top 10 for the most money received from the state of Minnesota.
All of the windows are completely blacked out. You can't even get in.
You can't
And for
see.
a place that's supposed to have over 100 children, there's no footprints. This is the backside of the daycare. We're ringing the doorbell right now. See if anybody comes. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Get out.
Okay, listen.
Get out. This is our business.
Each other, okay?
What are you
Yes,
looking for?
We don't care what you.
I can be here in the parking lot. Let me ask you about the daycare.
No. You don't ask me nothing. man.
$2.25 million.
Get out, you guys. Get out.
There's no kids there.
What's the need
Get
for
out,
$2.25 million for a daycare? Can you answer the question?
Get out. No, I don't ask you any question. You guys, get out.
I don't see any footprints of any children here.
Get out. Get out our business.
He's so mad.
All right, we gotta get out of here.
Get out.
No footprints of any children. Just answer some simple questions. Millions of people are watching right now.
All of their vehicles were sitting there with 2 feet of snow on them. They haven't moved in months.
The windows are all blacked out. 4 men came out, yet they couldn't answer the simple question. We have 118 children, $2.25 million this year.
I don't have a problem with Somalia or Somalians. I just have a problem with scammers. And if you want to act as an ethnic group and protect other people inside of your ethnic group as scammers, then that needs to be addressed.
Now this daycare center, how much money has this one received?
So this child care center is called Proud Child Care Center, and it's in Eden Prairie, Minnesota, which is a very high income area. Child care got $1.25 million in funding in fiscal year. It got $1.08 million last year. It opened in 2021. Let's go see if we can find any kids.
There should be at least 40 children here. All of these windows are completely blacked out. Could I enroll my son Joey into daycare here? I have a son named Joey. My name's Nick Shirley. We just want to get a statement as to why this daycare needs $1.26 million, and if it's even possible to enroll somebody like my child, my imaginary child, Joey. It would debunk all claims if you could just give me a piece of paper saying where to enroll a child. You can't do that. Okay, well, thank you very much. They won't even give us a paper to enroll a child. One of the big talks about the fraud is about Quality Learning Center. It's a daycare that has received $1.9 million. It's licensed for over 99 children. And instead of quality learning, it says quality learning outside. But the big controversy about the Quality Learning Center is that Somalians, after the video went live, they all of a sudden started shuffling children into the daycare. But at the same time, how much money has this place all received?
This is the one that's licensed for 99 children. This fiscal year, they've received $1.9 million. And in fiscal year 2024, they had received about 2.2 million, so about 4 million in the last 2 fiscal years.
This is the owner right here. Trying to speak to the owner, they won't even answer a simple question.
Hey,
look, now he's going inside.
Sir. It looks suspicious when you run, brother.
Now, both of these people have interesting ties with politicians inside of Minnesota. And since the man who's running the daycare, he was celebrating with Mayor Fry after he won re-election of mayor inside of Minneapolis. And then this lady right here seems to be a friend of Ilhan Omar, as she has photos with her outside of the restaurant. What's your message, people, about the fraud here in Minnesota?
Let me say this on camera. If you can prove that any of the information that I have here is false, I'll give you $100,000 cash. And if you can't prove it, you have to give me $100.
They all went silent.
Wow. Nobody wants $100,000. That's crazy.
How do you feel about this daycare, for instance, receiving $1.9 million? And they couldn't even spell learning right. They spelled leering.
Hey, man. Somalis, I'm not gonna lie, I can't say too much. Tim Waltz, you gotta solve this stuff. Minnesota really cracked down on this because they've been doing this for years. They've been doing this for years, so.
Should Tim Waltz be prosecuted?
Hell yeah.
And at this point, you're probably wondering where all the millions and billions of dollars has gone. Well, it's been well tracked that a lot of the money, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, has been funneled through TSA at the airport inside of Minnesota. It's been well tracked and documented. I was actually able to meet up with a whistleblower. He saw millions of dollars go through TSA. And what kind of fraud did you see take place here in Minnesota?
So I worked for the airport police for 31 years. I would get emails from our dispatch saying like 2 male Somali individuals. They would give us their names. They claimed the cash, that they had a large amount of cash at the checkpoints.
And how much was the money?
The money, the smallest amount in a suitcase that I heard was like $750,000. But generally, it was anywhere from $1 million to $6 million in a suitcase. As far as I can remember, there was always 2 individuals traveling. So you would have maybe one guy with 2.2 million and another guy with 3 million.
What the
And at airports, you're able to take $10,000 without declaring it. How are these guys able to take millions of dollars?
Because as far as I know, as long as they declared it, they were fine. So then TSA would contact HSI and Customs, and I'm sure they got the information. We got the information. My administration knew about it, and I trust that they sent that on to higher state officials on this, but nothing was ever done the whole time I was there.
How much money do you think moved through the airport in your time?
Millions, literally millions and millions. I don't know, 5 to 6 million a week. It would happen twice a week. There would be somebody flying, 2 people flying out with $1 to 2 to 3 to 4 or $5 million twice a week.
And where were those people traveling to?
This is the word I got, that they would fly to Atlanta, take a flight from Atlanta to Dubai. They'd wire the money to Somalia.
So they'd take the money from Minnesota, take it to Atlanta, and then take it to Dubai, and then from Dubai they then wire the money.
Correct. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I was told by other.
Time to hold all fraudsters and corrupt politicians accountable. We work too hard for billions of our dollars to be stolen from our pockets. Thank you all for supporting and sharing. These guys were the best. This just massive crash out. The moment that he shows up at the door, they immediately start yelling and freaking out at him. Yeah, and I'll link you guys the video. This has over 1 million views already. I totally support Nick Shirley. I think he's completely right about this stuff. Give the video a like, give him some support. Obviously, Nick Shirley gets a lot of harassment and hate because of him bringing attention to this.